We have a very special guest speaker today. Kevin James moved to Los Angeles from Texas in the late 1980s to begin his career as an attorney. Won't hold that against you, I promise. With Gibson, Dunn and Crutcher. He immediately began his involvement in local politics and working with local charities. He left Gibson Dunn to join the U.S. Attorney's Office, and after a few years as a federal prosecutor in Los Angeles, he returned to private practice focusing on entertainment litigation, and then began an evening talk radio show on KABC and then KRLA, focusing on local issues and covering City Hall. Today he serves in Mayor Garcetti's administration as the president of the Board of Public Works, where he, along with his 4 colleagues on the commission, are the chief administrators of the Department of Public Works, which consists of more than 4,800 employees who are responsible for design, construction, renovation, and operation of public projects, ranging from bridges to wastewater treatment plants and libraries, curbside collection and graffiti removal, maintenance of streets, sidewalks, sewers, streetlights, and trees. They basically have nothing on their agenda. Kevin also serves as the director and chief liaison of the mayor's film and television production, where he oversees the relationship between numerous city departments and the entertainment industry to make sure that film, television, commercial, and music video production feel at home in the city of Los Angeles. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome today's guest speaker, Kevin James.
Thank you, Mel. Let me move this over here. First of all, let me start by apologizing profusely, as I did with Mel the last time. I was scheduled to come a couple of months ago, and you know, one of the things that happens in when you work in City Hall is, fortunately, we get to do quite a lot of community meetings and things just like this. But Sunday is an unusual time for us for some of the community meetings, and there was just an absence of mind with my scheduler and my office and myself. And I was just hanging around the house, enjoying a day off. As your meeting, I didn't have any excuse or anything like that. As your meeting just progressed, and then I realized later, and I always look at, you know, one of the things, we have the personal phone and the city phone when you work for the government. You know, we are supposed to keep those things separate. And I usually, of course, check my city phone every day, and for some reason that day, I just didn't. And so I missed speaking. You are, in my career in City Hall, this group is the only group that has suffered being completely stood up by me. So I told Mel that, in a way, that I would love the opportunity to come back, and because of that, you can ask me anything you want to ask me, and I will answer it. One thing I would like to do, first of all, Reed, is R&M, is that in the city of Los Angeles?
It's in Northridge, yes.
Okay, in Northridge, great. So you're a local business in the city of Los Angeles. So very happy to hear that. So on the back of the handout that I have, it's a bit of a cheat sheet for city services on things that I'll talk about. If there are things that you need or that we can help you with in the Department of Public Works, let us know by contacting us at any of those numbers, and in many instances, we can expedite your request. Also, to the 3 students that were part of RILA, what grade range are the 3 of you in? Are you all in the same grade? Okay. So at that, first of all, congratulations. It was inspiring hearing your story and hearing the things that you learned. And I would have been horrified at your age if I had to stand up in front of a group of adults and people that you might not necessarily know that well and give a report. And I wanted to give a shout out to you. I think you have a bright future in leadership or in whatever avenue you pursue, and you're already showing interest, and community involvement is something very nice to see. So thanks for the invitation to be here and to talk about what we do in Public Works. So we have, as Mel mentioned, we're the 3rd largest department in the city of Los Angeles. And the Department of Public Works is made up of 5 bureaus, and then there's kind of a 6th office as well that right now is housed within the Board of Public Works. It's the Bureau of Sanitation, the Bureau of Street Services, the Bureau of Engineering, the Bureau of Street Lighting, and the Bureau of Contract Administration. The Bureau of Contract Administration oversees not just the contracts that come through Public Works, but they oversee work related to other city contracts as well. such that we'll see approximately $3.3 billion of city contracting per year that will come through the Department of Public Works. And in the next year or so, when we make the transition to what is an open market system right now, some call it the Wild Wild West, of trash pickup for businesses and for multifamily dwellings. Those are units with more than, buildings with more than 4 units. That'll be $2.5 billion of additional contracting that will come through the Department of Public Works as well, so we'll be up to $5.8 billion at that point. The sixth office that I wanted to mention was the Office of Community Beautification. Most people are familiar with the Office of Community Beautification because it's the office that does graffiti removal and community cleanups around the city of Los Angeles. On the front page of the handout, you'll see the Board of Public Works. That's where I sit. We are, of a number of commissioners around the city of Los Angeles, we are the only full-time paid commissioners in the city of Los Angeles, so it is the only full-time paid board. In addition to my role as President of Public Works, as Mel mentioned, I am also the Director and Chief Liaison of the Mayor's Office of Film and Television Production. I'll spend just a few minutes on that, and then I'll spend the rest of the time on Public Works. You may have heard, those of you that work in or around the entertainment industry, last year, actually it was passed in October of 2014, the state legislature passed AB 1839. That was the new, updated, and upgraded film and television tax credit. It increased the state tax credit from $100 million to $330 million per year. And it changed the system within which the state grants the tax credit funds from what was a lottery system to what is now a jobs ratio-based system. So there is some method to the process and metrics that actually are taken into account when the tax credit funds are handed out. We knew that with the increase from $100 million to $330 million that we would see a significant increase in production of both film, television, music video, and commercials in the city of Los Angeles, and indeed we have seen that. Overall, we're up 11% from the very first year. We expect to be up 30% in the second year, and it will continue to grow. We will be back in front of the legislature looking to renew the program. It's a 5-year program right now, so we'll be back in about 2.5 years because it takes about a year to get through the process. Our goal will be to match New York's tax credit, which is at $400 million. We have benefits here in Hollywood, obviously. One, we're Hollywood. Two, we have the studio infrastructure in place, so we don't necessarily have to out-tax credit the other states and other countries that offer tax credits to lure the industry there. But we need to match them, and if we match them, we'll have the advantages that we're starting to see now. Regarding the Department of Public Works, I would like to highlight just some of the really exciting things. We just came off of National Public Works Week. We actually have one of those, and where public works agencies and groups get together from around the country and feature some of the projects and some of the changes and the improvements that are happening in the way that we provide public works services each individual municipality does around the country. As I mentioned, it's the third largest city, the third largest department in the second largest city in America. One of the things when I was talking to the City Council presenting our annual report just last week, one of the common denominators that I talked about that really is making public works exciting and changing the way that we provide city services in the city of Los Angeles is technology. And when you think you actually can change the way that we pick up trash in the city of Los Angeles through technology, it really is quite remarkable. We have a new program called the Clean Streets Initiative. What we have done in the city of Los Angeles, and we're the only major city to have done that, using Google Maps, we have driven every city block in the city of Los Angeles. It's more than 60,000 city blocks in the city of Los Angeles, and given each city block a grade of a 1, 2, or 3. It's a cleanliness grade. So that when we send our crews out to pick up illegal dumping, abandoned waste, or bulky items, Now that's trash pickup. It's not the regularly scheduled weekly pickup that you're used to with the blue bin, the blue bin, the green bin, and the black bin. These are additional items that have to be picked up around the city of Los Angeles. We can now send our crews out based on data and based on metrics. So it makes the whole system much more efficient, much more effective, and we'll get much more done for the dollars that we have in the budget, because you don't lose travel time, you don't lose crew time, and all of that. So it's really going to be exciting in the next year as we see the first year of the Clean Streets Initiative. Something else that's happening along the same kind of lines in the Bureau of Street Services. Certainly technology-based, but also helps us with metrics regarding the way that not only that we pave our streets in the city of Los Angeles, but the way that we fix our potholes in the city of Los Angeles. Like we did with the Clean Streets Initiative, every street in the city of Los Angeles, every mile, and this is the largest municipal mileage network in the country, one of the largest in the world, obviously, with our 28,000 lane miles in the city of Los Angeles. Every one of those lane miles is driven annually and given a letter grade, much like school, from A to F, A, B, C, D, and then F. And those letter grades let us know the average pavement condition of our entire street network. The pavement condition index, the PCI as we call it right now, is right around 63. It's not good. We want to be, that's about a C minus in the way that we grade streets. We want to be at an 80. The politics and the economics of paving in our pavement preservation program have been such that we have not been able to do better in the last several years, considering budget cuts of the Great Recession as well, than maintaining our pavement condition index. We are now beginning to turn the corner. Even though there's a slight reduction in budget money for the pavement preservation program going forward, that's because we have been more efficient in getting the mileage paved in the last couple of years. We've done that through collaboration, cooperation, innovation, and technology. Because of the technology that we have that I'll get to in a minute because it relates to potholes as well, we are able to better route our crews and better work with the Department of Transportation and the other departments that are involved in the pavement preservation program to squeeze another 200 miles of our pavement preservation out around the city, which means that we were able to get to 200 more miles than we were in the prior year. We reached a record for the city of Los Angeles, and indeed a record for any city in the country, last year when we paved 2,400 miles. It's just about 10% of the entire network. Now when we say paved it, there are a couple of different ways that we do this. For A and B streets, that's a slurry seal, where we go in and we actually come in with it's a film kind of tarry type coat that you put in over the asphalt. It maintains the integrity of the asphalt. It's called slurry seal. It costs about $25,000 a mile to do that. For streets that have to be resurfaced, that's where we actually go in, scrape off the top level, put down the asphalt. That's about $100,000 a mile. Those are basically C streets. The next level is reconstruction, and the resurfacing costs about $100,000 a mile. Actual reconstruction for the D's and F's can be anywhere from $250,000 a mile to $2.5 million a mile for some of the F streets. So when people always wonder, they're like, why do I see the crews at the neighboring street every 5 years, but you haven't touched my street in 25 years? The answer is always the same. I know they live on either a D or F street or a concrete street, which we haven't had budget money for several years. And it's because for $25,000 a mile, I can maintain the integrity of 40 miles for $1 million if I rebuild one street. Or to flip that, if I rebuild one street for $1 million, there's 40 miles that I'm not going to be able to touch for maintaining. And you don't want a street through wear and tear to go from an A to a B to a C, or a C to a D. With technology, we're able to squeeze 200 more miles out of the same budget money. And I'm just going to be frank with you. We're not going to be able to improve the pavement condition index in the city of Los Angeles unless Measure R, which is going to be on the ballot, it's a county measure, it's a transportation measure. That measure has a 16% local return that will provide money back to the municipalities, and 2/3 of that local return money, the council has already passed a resolution with the mayor's support, 2/3 of that money will go into our road repair. That's how we'll turn the corner and fix the DNF streets. I mentioned technology and pothole repair a moment ago. We are now getting to, if you go to an online app, MyLA311, you can download the app. It's an amazing city services app. We are now getting to potholes. If you report a pothole through your 311 app, or going to the 311 website, or calling 311, we're getting to it now in less than 3 days. In many instances, we're getting to it in less than 2 days, but in every instance, less than 3 days. What's amazing about that is with smartphone technology, you can take a photograph of the pothole. If your GPS is on, when you report it to 311, the coordinates go back to the Bureau of Street Services. So instead of doing pothole repair with paperwork and supervisors sending crews out with paper documents, and then they're writing down when they do a pothole repair, and then come back and then re-recording everything, it's all done electronically. You can imagine the time and people power that it saves. That means it's saving money as well. So today, if you take a photo of a pothole, the request comes into the Bureau of Street Services. It's sent electronically and automatically to our street repair crews. The repair crew gets it. They're routed electronically. When they go out and repair the pothole, they take a photo of it. Because the coordinates are the same, GPS in this Axel technology matches it with the complaint, and if you want a photo of the repaired pothole sent back to you, you can get it sent back to you. So it really is amazing what smartphone technology is even doing for pothole repair. It's not something that people think of every day when they think of the of what you can do from your pocket now, and it's really exciting for the way that we are providing city services. Along those lines, cell phone technology. In the Bureau of Street Lighting, 200 and some thousand plus street lights in the city of Los Angeles, the largest street light network in the country, as you can imagine. We are replacing some of the standard Cobra lights that you see with another Cobra light that you'll see. And if you notice that the pole is a little bit thicker, those are called smart poles. And smart poles enable us to take down, when we put up a smart pole, it has in it the cell tower technology. So that new communities that are getting the smart poles, if they didn't already have existing cell tower technology, that's what their cell phone technology is. And they're not having to get the ugly cell phone towers put up. For the areas that already have the cell phone technology structure in place, that cell phone technology will be taken down when the smart poles go up. Neighborhoods love it, obviously. It's much better for neighborhood beautification, and it just makes better use out of our street lighting poles. It's a pilot program right now. The program is with Philips and various carriers one at a time. We started with Verizon. I believe we're doing T-Mobile next, but the benefit to the taxpayers is not costing the taxpayer anything. The goal is through the pilot program, they'll want the city to, which we expect it will do, after the pilot's over, then we'll make it a standard part of our pole replacement in the city of Los Angeles. For the Bureau of Contract Administration, and those of you that either have been contractors with the city of Los Angeles or know people that would like to be contractors with the city of Los Angeles, we have something online, again, with technology that has made it a lot easier to work with the city of Los Angeles and to get through kind of the Byzantine process of contracting with the city of Los Angeles, and that's called our Business Assistance Virtual Network. All of the websites, by the way, that are from the bureaus that I've referenced are all on the back of that handout. So if you want to know more about any of these processes or programs, it's all available online through the BCA website. You can connect directly to our Babin system and see what contracting opportunities are available in the city of Los Angeles. Our Bureau of Engineering, they have something that's very handy. It's mostly used by developers and construction crews, but it's called Navigate LA. You can again link to the BOE website. Every street and every block is mapped, of course, through our Navigate LA system. And you can see where the infrastructure is in the city of Los Angeles. You can see where there are DWP lines that are running under the streets in the city of Los Angeles, and all kinds of infrastructure, including sewer lines and stuff like that, that construction crews need to know. It's something that is also handy for folks that just like to know what the built infrastructure is of their community and their neighborhood is, and that's available through Navigate LA. The Bureau of Engineering right now working on some very large projects. I'll just quickly go through some of the larger projects that we're working on, and then I don't know how much time I have left. I'm probably late.
Yeah, but 10 minutes.
10 minutes, then I'll take some questions.
It's a joke. You can speak as long as you like. We leave at 2 o'clock.
Okay. The Bureau of Engineering right now is working on the 6th Street Bridge, which is a federally funded project. It's about a $460 million budget. The old 6th Street Bridge had a unique a virus, you could call it, because of the type of sand that they used from Santa Barbara in the 30s when they built the bridge. It caused expansion versus the sand that was shipped in locally for all the other bridges. The expansion caused the bridge to weaken such that it was seismically not fit. So we had to tear the 6th Street Bridge down. It was iconic, of course, we hated to do that. But we had to do it, and the new, if you haven't seen a rendering of what the new 6th Street Bridge will do, it is no other word for it other than spectacular. Not only will it provide the new 6th Street Bridge, it will also create an actual community above it, well, below the bridge and around the bridge, because of the what will be built near it and on the bridge itself. And those arches that you've seen, some of those arches actually have catwalks that people can walk above the arches. Some of them will be gated, so you can actually walk along the catwalks there, which is just going to be truly incredible. Another large project, the sidewalk repair plan, the Bureau of Street Services working on with the Bureau of Engineering, $1.4 billion over 30 years. The City Council passed the sidewalk repair plan. We have not repaired, obviously, if you walk around the city of Los Angeles, we have not repaired our sidewalks or maintained them in even fair condition over the last 35 to 40 years. The reason that the $30 million or so per year is put into the budget is because of a federal lawsuit that was filed against the city some years ago called Willits versus the City of Los Angeles. The case was settled, and it was settled with the mandate being that the city spend its money to repair the sidewalks. All of the plaintiffs, the ADA plaintiffs, Americans with Disability Act plaintiffs, they were not in it for the money. They were in it to force the city to do what the city should have been doing, which is maintain its sidewalks, and every time we touch a sidewalk, of course, for repair, it has to be ADA compliant. We have an ADA compliance officer that's part of the sidewalk repair program. It's paid for out of the budget money as well. And you will start seeing sidewalk repairs in earnest. As a matter of fact, the city has never had, $31 million is in this year's upcoming budget for sidewalk repair. The city has never had $31 million in its budget for sidewalk repair in its history. So we're going to start seeing sidewalk repair significantly around the city. The settlement itself does dictate priority and order in which sidewalk repairs are done. 20% of the money, and this is because people always think, well, is it going to be 25 years before they get to my neighborhood? Not necessarily. 20% of the money every year will be decided by the ADA coordinators around the city of Los Angeles to repair the worst cracked sidewalks in the city, no matter where they are. It could be outside, out in front of your house. But you've seen the craters. You all have seen these craters and things that are impassable. That's what the money will be going to, 20% of the money in the early years. Additional funding in the early years around city facilities for obvious reasons, lots of pedestrian traffic, also to minimize liability, because if the city is sued, it doesn't mean the city's paying, it means you're paying. We don't have our own money. Our money is your money. It's paid by the taxpayer. So we obviously want to minimize liability for injuries that occur as a result of sidewalk facilities at city facilities. So that's a priority. Next, obviously, high traffic areas for pedestrians, including around metro stations, public transit stops, senior centers, shopping malls, and then commercial facilities as well, as you can imagine. For the Bureau of Sanitation, the big project coming up, I mentioned the Clean Streets Initiative already, is the transition. It's the largest transition of any of its kind. You notice that anything we do in the Department of Public Works in the city of Los Angeles is the largest in the country. It's because, I guess it comes from being the second largest city, but we're second largest city population-wise. But when you look at the landmass and the roads that we have and the built infrastructure, we're larger than New York. So in that end, we're not taller than New York, but we are we're larger in many ways than New York City. So this is will be the largest transition from what has been an open market system for commercial entities like the restaurant that we're standing in right now. When the city comes around and picks up trash, we pick up at residences 750,000 every single week. That's the green, blue, black bins that you're used to. If you live in a multifamily dwelling of 4 units or more, you have a private hauler that your landlord or if you own the building, you contract with to pick up trash every week or on whatever schedule it is. There are a number of problems that have happened with that, many of them environmental. I knew when I saw the photograph of 6 private haulers on one block at the same time in San Pedro that when this was pending before the city council that this was over with. Because you can imagine the traffic it caused, the weight and problems on the roads and the infrastructure that it caused, the environmental problems it caused from the exhaust from all of those trucks at the same time. So now we have a system to an exclusive franchise system. The city is divided up into 11 zones, 1 hauler per zone. Now, some of the people were concerned about what happens to some of the smaller haulers in that world because they're going to be frozen out. Some of them will be frozen out, but many of the smaller haulers are able to be subcontractors of the larger hauler. But what we're able to do is guarantee that every commercial facility will have its trash picked up regularly because many of them weren't. In some parts of the city, they just throw their stuff on their neighbors or they leave it out. And then it's illegal dumping or abandoned waste or whatever. This way, not only are we going to make sure that our cleanliness index is much better, but we also have a much safer, we'll be able to route through metrics without having, you won't have 6 trucks on the same block at the same time. So it'll be much safer for motorists and for kids and around schools and everything that you can imagine. Plus, the customer service is going to be handled through the Bureau of Sanitation. So we're able to monitor and make sure that everything is done appropriately. There was some concern. One of the concerns I had initially regarding this program and transitioning into it was something I called sticker shock. And that is our businesses and going to have to pay more, such that apartment buildings are going to pay more, so rents are going to go up. Commercial facilities like R&M Motors are going to have to pay more, so their prices have to go up. One way that it may have been R&M Automotive. Was it Automotive?
R&M, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
all
R&M.
right. I said Motors, but all right. Got it the second time. Got the R&M right, though.
No
For Reed and
and.
Michael, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, but we don't want their costs to go up that they have to pass on to their customers as well. We solved that problem at the front end. And what I mean is when we put out the request for proposals, all the proposals that come back, 20 to 25% of the scoring is based on pricing. So we're able to see and mandate what the costs are. Each contract is a 10-year contract. So there's going to be, you're not going to have this, you're not going to not know what the costs are going to be. And we're going to be able to make sure that the lower costs with the best service are the ones that are going to get the awards. So with that, I kind of went through what's happening in public works and in technology. Oh, I have 5 minutes left, so I'll answer some questions, but I'm going to take 30 seconds of that. Something that is coming up around the corner that is going to be very exciting, again because of technology. A public-private partnership between the city and Cal Poly and one independent entity, and we're talking to a couple of different ones, so I don't want to indicate who that is yet, but we're going to have something called Operation Street Trees soon. We're going to have an electronic inventory of every tree, every street tree in the city of Los Angeles. Now what that's going to be able to do, we're going to be able to allow people to adopt trees in their neighborhood if they want. We'll be able to monitor how much trees are watered, things that we can't otherwise do right now. It's so much better for us with our scheduling for tree trimming right now. and really for just maintaining and growing our street tree canopy. We're doing a number of things. One of the big priorities that I've had in my time at Public Works has been rebuilding our urban forestry division and really just improving the way that we take care and grow our tree canopy in the city of Los Angeles. It's a very critical part of living in an urban environment, as you can imagine.